Hello, I am Bookface, and today we're going to talk about the most horrifying creatures, horses. Legends of horses as evil creatures are surprisingly prevalent in Ireland and Scotland. There are actually a few different types of legends about horses in Scotland and Ireland, but the main kind is the water horse, which, in case you hadn't guessed, we're going to talk about in this video. Shocking! First, we have a creature called the Kelpie. The Kelpie is a shape-shifting creature from Scottish folklore that inhabited rivers, streams, and some people say lochs, but we're going to get there. Now, the Kelpie, as a water horse, of course, rhymes. Of course, since the Kelpie is a water horse, it commonly looks like a horse. But it's a shapeshifter, remember? So not always. The Kelpie can also look like a person. The human form a Kelpie takes is almost always male. Now, despite the Kelpie being a shapeshifter, its transformation to human wasn't perfect. In human form, it was supposed to still keep its hooves, which I think is a real big red flag. So, if you're meeting some dude for the first time, check out his feet, make sure he doesn't have hooves. Pro tip of the day. Another thing about the Kelpie that lets you recognize them in human form, that was a long sentence, is that in human form, the Kelpie's hair is always soaking wet and covered in weeds. Now, in horse form, the Kelpie tends to look like, just a black horse, but its hooves are facing backwards. Like if I saw a horse and I just saw its hooves were facing backwards, I would call it that. It would get awkward for the Kelpie. So the origins of the Kelpie are a little tricky. Some people think that the Kelpie is sort of a representation of practices of human sacrifice. Fun. However, some believe the Kelpie's origins are more modern and were created by parents to keep their kids away from the water so they don't drown. Now, earlier I said that the Kelpie always inhabits like rivers and streams, but it doesn't always inhabit lochs. Now, some people believe there's this distinction, and that the Kelpie goes for rivers and streams, and the lochs are inhabited by... Now, Kelpies were dangerous in this way. He would stand on a beach, wait for some kid to come up and say, "That's a horse. I want to ride it," as, all kids do. Then, as soon as the kid would get on the horse to ride it, the Kelpie's skin becomes like glue, and the kid gets stuck. Then, with the kid attached to the horse's back, it would dive into the water and drown them. After capturing and successfully murdering a kid, it would completely devour the child and throw their entrails onto the beach. Now, there were a number of ways to deal with a Kelpie. Some say that if you have a cross, you could actually control the Kelpie. Additionally, many Kelpie were thought to wear a silver bridle. If this bridle was removed, it was believed the Kelpie could be exorcised. My question is, how do you get it off of the Kelpie without, touching any part of its skin? Because, it turns to glue. This bridle was supposed to contain magical powers, because of course it does. It was believed that if you had a Kelpie's bridle, you could use it to turn someone into a horse or a pony. Why though? People have also reported being able to injure a Kelpie by using silver or by stabbing it with iron that's red hot. When a Kelpie is killed, it's thought that they just sort of melt into this gelatinous pile of goo, like a jellyfish. Disgusting! Next we have a creature called the Ich-Uische. I don't know how it's pronounced. This is a creature that's both Scottish and Irish. The Ich-Uische is supposed to be very similar to the Kelpie. So much so that some people don't even make a distinction and just say they're the same thing. but they're not. One of the distinctions that's made is that the Kelpie is only supposed to go in rivers and streams, but the Ichwistche goes in lochs and ocean. I told you that would come up again. Now the Ichwistche, much like the Kelpie, is a shapeshifter and can transform into a horse, pony, a handsome man, or a giant bird. Because why not? Much like the Kelpie, Ichwistche's human transformation wasn't perfect. Despite being nice and handsome, its hair was also completely filled with weeds, soaked in water, and just filled with mud and sand. Now, despite being more dangerous than the Kelpie, the Ichwistche could actually be ridden as a normal horse if it was nowhere near water. The Kelpie even smelled a little bit of water, or saw it, or whatever. Not the Kelpie. If the Ichwistche saw water, or even caught the scent of it, then its skin would become like glue, just like the Kelpie, and it would dive into the nearest water source and kill whoever was riding it. Why not just use a normal horse? You can ride those by the water. Why would you want to ride an Ichwistche? Much like the Kelpie, the Ichwistche eats the entirety of the victim except for one thing, the liver. It throws the liver on the beach and just ditches it. So there are just random livers being found on the beaches. Just like, hey, look at that liver. Is that little Timmy? Timmy, no! Oh, God. Timmy, I'm sorry. Now, unlike the Kelpie that mainly targeted children, the Ichwistche tends to target women more. But the Ichwistche is also known to eat livestock like cows and sheep. But the Ichwistche is also vulnerable to silver, so it seems a lot like the Kelpie. But there actually is another slight weakness that it has that's honestly kind of funny to me. So, if the Ichwistche tries to capture a human and fails, and they go back to their block, they risk being attacked by other Ichwistche because they smell like a person. Finally, we have a creature called the Noogle, or the Nuggle, or the Chupulti, or the Chupilti. The Noogle is thought to inhabit the rivers, streams, and lochs of the Shetland Islands. Along with rivers and lochs, it's also found behind watermills. Thought that a Noogle is always male, and unlike the other water horses, it actually can't turn into a human. It's just constantly a horse. Now the Noogle looks basically like a normal horse. It's just a normal, well-fed, healthy horse. Its hair is usually black, maybe with a slight bluish tinge, or very light gray, almost white. And its tail looks like a wheel. Like what kind of wheel are we talking about? Are we talking about like a wooden cart wheel or Hot Wheels? This bizarre wheel-shaped tail is actually the main identifying characteristic of the Noogle. So if you see a horse with a Hot Wheel for a tail, then don't ride it. But the Noogle was aware that people could recognize its tail, so it often only came to people at night, or very close to night, so it could more easily hide the tail. Now the Noogle has another very large difference from the other water horses. In fact, it doesn't kill people. It's just a jerk. So the Noogle doesn't kill, it just pranks people. Cue the Noogle saying, "It's just a prank, bro!" It was believed that a Noogle would do a lot of the same steps that a Kelpie or an Ichwistche would do. It would wait for somebody on the shores, wait for them to hop on its back. It would jump into the water, but then it would just swim off. So it didn't drown people and kill them, and eat everything except for like an organ or two. No, it just dunked them in the water and ruined their day. Points for not being a murderer, but you still suck. My phone was in my pocket, you piece of... Anyways, so, There are 3 water horse legends. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.